Welcome to another episode of Switch Movies, the new discussion series on YouTube / SoundCloud podcast, whatever the hell you want to call it. I don't even know what I'm calling this thing anymore. Where my buddy Ben and we each have, based on the theme of the episode, for the episode in question, we each suggest a film for the other to watch that the other person has not seen. And, well, we hope for the best, but sometimes the best just doesn't happen. We are in October, one of my favourite months of the entire year, hence today's ensemble. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see that I went to some effort. My co-host did not.
I did not.
So, Ben, care to tell everybody what this month's theme is?
We decided, and yes, we know we've been a little redundant lately, but we really wanted to do a horror movie, obviously, for October, Halloween. It's great. But there's so many, obviously, like American classics, like all the slasher series, Halloween, Friday the 13th, Scream, all those. We wanted to go overseas. Ashley's not in America. I'm in America. But I wanted to expand my horizons because I'm such a horror novice. And I feel like foreign horror, which is our category for this week, I feel like just foreign horror has such a different take on horror. And even with American remakes, you can really see the difference of what, like, American studios feel like they need to put in movies. I feel like foreign horror really trusts their audience more than American studios do. Foreign horror is like, we're going to present this, and you can either like interpret it A, B, or C, but there is something in there for you that we want you to see, but we're not going to, have some voiceover or exposition dump by some scientist guy who knows all the lore, and I'm going to explain it to you. Oh, God.
No, Ben is 100% right on that. See, we agree on some stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, despite the fact that sometimes people will say about American horror films, oh, they're so scary, it's so disturbing, foreign horror goes above and beyond. But most of the time, there are exceptions to the rule that I do not want to think about, but most of the time, there is an actual purpose to what foreign horror is trying to do. There's a message, there's something there to take in. I feel like sometimes American horror kind of misses the mark on that. I think they're trying to catch up a little bit with films like Get Out and Us, which definitely have a very clear point to them. But are they still as disturbing as some stuff that comes out of other countries? No. America, I think, spoon feeds too much to its audience. And that kind of can ruin it a little bit. But foreign, ugh.
Well,
they don't hold back.
I feel like American studios took the wrong lesson from some foreign horror, like Martyrs, like the movie, you suggested for me. And that's where I feel like torture porn came from, with like Saw and Hostel and The Collector and stuff like that. But they took the wrong lesson from it. It's not like, okay, this is bringing out like the raw humanity of something and what this can do to someone. It's just like, nah, we want to see blood and guts and tits. Yeah. Woo! And like, that's what all those movies are. It's just like, okay, how elaborately can we kill someone, which is an interesting thing on its own, but there's literally nothing else to the Saw movies besides getting to the next puzzle.
Yeah, that's pretty true. And they're making another one, produced by Chris Rock, of all people.
Oh my God. Just make it stop.
Well, before we go off on any tangents, which, believe me, we could, we will start by discussing the first film for today, which was suggested to me by Ben. Ben, tell everybody what you told me to watch.
I told Ashleigh to watch one of my favorite foreign horror movies. It's called I Saw the Devil. It's directed by Jee-woon Kim, and it is about a serial killer who kills a woman on the side of the road, and unfortunately for the serial killer, this woman was married to a secret agent, and he goes off on a revenge spree, but it's not a simple revenge story where he's just hunting this guy down and then he kills him. That's what I liked about this movie, is that he finds him in the first 20 minutes of the movie, and the rest of the movie is this guy who's played by, you guys probably know this actor because he's been in a lot of American films too, Byung-hun Lee. He was Storm Shadow in G.I. Joe. He was in Red 2. He's been in a lot of great stuff. And then I feel like I want him to be in more drama movies in America. I feel like people are like, oh, he can kick, let's put him in karate movies. Like, no, this dude is an actor. He is an actor.
Oh,
and I want to see him in more like meaty American movies. But he basically spends the whole time torturing this serial killer who is one of the worst villains in movie history. I would put him up there with Hannibal Lecter and Darth Vader and all those, you know, AFI has all like the top 50 villains. He would be up there for me because he's not human. He's just like this relentless force that's just like can't be stopped. And it's almost like a cat and mouse game, and you're wondering where the lines are being blurred of where the cop is now becoming the monster because he's just tormenting this man for what he's done. And yes, this guy's a terrible person, but it's like, okay, where is justice? Like, where's the line drawn? And where the horror comes in is just like, it's just a mind game. It's all psychological horror, and you think that, oh, the serial killer is going to be the one that's going to be the scary guy, and he does have his very terrifying moments, but then our protagonist, our quote-unquote protagonist, is supposed to be the good guy chasing him down, but he kind of keeps letting him go after he, you know, breaks his arm or cuts his Achilles off. And it's just all these crazy things that he's doing. It's like, okay, maybe he's not the best guy. Ashleigh, what did you think about I Saw the Devil?
Hard to describe how I feel about it. I think it's a really, really, really good film. So I'll start with that. So I think that this was a great choice for Ben to give me. So yay! I'm happy with one of them.
She liked the movie.
I mean, I've obviously, for those who don't know, I love horror. It's my favorite genre, and foreign horror I just love. And of the films that I've seen that come out of South Korea, I've never been disappointed. So I really had high hopes for this. So again, I've seen another one, and again, I'm not disappointed.
Real quick, I just read online, because I think Parasite, the new film from the guy who did The Handmaiden and stuff, I think it's no South Korean film has ever been nominated for any Oscar, ever. And it's like Parasite is like getting some Oscar buzz. But that's just the craziest thing, because South Korea, I would almost put them number 2 for film, because they have made so many amazing movies. And if you guys are hesitant about watching foreign films, start with South Korea, honestly. Start with South Korea, because they are so good with everything they do. And you'll find something, action, drama, horror, you'll find something you like out of South Korea, I guarantee it. All right, just want to say that because I found that news so crazy.
Ben is again right. With what Ben just said, I'll interrupt what I'm saying about I Saw the Devil. There's a film called The Silenced, and it's another example of great South Korean film, but what you think going in is just a regular horror film actually turns out to be like a superhero type movie, but like think X-Men and horror combined, and it's in South Korea. Like, you don't expect the shift, and it's so great, and it works out really well. Like, Brightburn could have taken some tips, so I highly recommend giving that one a go. But I Saw the Devil, I like that, again, it's one of those films that there is a point to it, and I was very, very surprised at how fast it started where he caught him, and I'm just like, wait.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do for the next hour and a half? Like, oh, is this gonna be like an hour and a half of him torturing this guy? I'm like, oh, this is gonna be brutal. And then he lets him go. I'm like, oh no, don't do that. Why did you do that? And so for me, I only have a couple of negatives to this film, but either way, I still think it's a great film. And one of my negatives is that I actually found it to be very predictable. Probably just comes from the fact that I've seen too much stuff. But one, you know, as soon as you see her stranded on the side of the road, I'm like, oh, well, she's dead. That's gonna suck. She's talking on the phone, and, you know, you can see he's got an earpiece. I'm like, oh, he's an agent of some kind. I'm like, oh, he's got skills. He's gonna fuck shit up. And then, obviously, he does. And probably the most... I wouldn't necessarily say it has foreshadowings in this film, but it does have at least one, which is the most obvious foreshadowing, which is right at the start of the film where he's dismembering her body and her wedding ring rolls into the grate. And they just linger on that shot for so long. And I'm just like, well, obviously he's going to investigate the thing. He finds the ring and he knows for a fact that this is the guy who murdered his wife. I'm like, well, we know where this is going. It was the whole time I was just like screaming at him like, why did you let him go, you idiot? Because at that point, the story can only go one of two ways. Either he succeeds in terrorizing this dude, or this guy's going to get the upper hand and turn the tables back on him, which he does end up doing. So as soon as it happened, I'm like, I knew it. I knew this was going to happen. You should have just killed the bastard when you had the chance.
Yeah.
The catch and release element has its, like, that's the con part, where I'm just, like, screaming, like, oh, you idiot. But on the other hand, it's interesting how no matter how many times he caught him and he fucked him up, it did not deter him. It did not change him. And you could tell from the very first scene our serial killer is in, he is a psychopath. He feels nothing. You can see it on his face. There are so many times when she's either begging for her life or looking in his eyes, or even the terrible moment when she says, please don't kill me, I'm pregnant. He's just like, and? Like, what's your point? He doesn't care. And I think that's probably the saddest part of the film for me, is that here's this guy, and you feel so bad for our, I'll say, protagonist, because you know that he's just on this mission to not just get revenge, but he's kind of avoiding his grief and pain because it's too much for him to deal with. This is easier. If he focuses on this, he doesn't have to focus on the fact that he's in pain that won't stop. And just when he's at the end where he's just like, he's saying, so do you feel remorse for what you did? I'm like, dude, that's like trying to get blood from a stone. He's a psychopath. You can butcher him all you want. He's not going to feel bad. And he says it.
Yeah, I hadn't watched this movie for a few years, so I was really interested to see, you know, rewatch it again, because I loved it the first time, but it was a hard watch. But yeah, like there are so many scenes where, like, and that's why I want that actor Byung-hun Lee to be in like more dramatic movies, because that final scene, well, one, I love that there aren't like no consequences, because I feel like there is gonna, when I was typing into IMDb to bring up all the credits and everything, I think there is gonna be an American remake of this movie by Adam Wingard. I don't, there's no picture or anything. It just says Adam Wingard, so I don't know what kind of production what stages that is, but I'm sure that's gonna suck. But I feel like in the American one, this movie would have no like bad consequences for our protagonist. Like, it'd just be like this total, Rambo sequel type thing where he just like beats him up, lets him go, and the guy's just crying in a corner. Yeah, what's up? This is my game now. And then that would be an hour and a half of just him messing with the guy and like him having nothing. But the dude literally, like, the first time the cop finds the serial killer, beats the shit out of him, and it's before you know what's gonna happen, it's this cathartic moment because the guy had kidnapped another girl and killed her, and then was on his third girl, and this is 30 minutes into the movie. He was on this third victim by the time our guy catches him. And he stops him, gets the girl out of there, frees her, beats the crap out of him. You're like, yeah, F yeah. And then he puts a tracker on him and knocks him out. And the guy doesn't even miss a step. He wakes up, hitches a ride into town, kills the two people that he gets a ride from, goes to the doctor, heals up, was probably going to kill the doctor before someone walked in, and then sexually assaults the nurse before our cop catches up with him again and beats him up. So, like, this guy isn't going to stop, and there's a victim. Like, the girl gets sexually assaulted before our protagonist shows up, so it's not like she's not going to be scarred for life. It's not like the doctor didn't have his life threatened and could have been easily killed before our hero showed up. Yeah. And then, it just escalates from there. And even after that first time, you're like, okay, maybe you should stop him now. Okay. Yeah. The first time was fun, but okay, now it's time to stop. And you just feel it escalating every time. And you're right, like, I don't know if it's like a critical con of the movie, but you're like, okay, now it's just stop. Just catch him. Arrest him, kill him, whatever. But you're right, like he can't stop, because if he stopped, he'd have to deal with his grief. But right now his anger is what he wants to focus on. And if, like, he even says, like, if the guy hadn't found the tracker, he would have done this for weeks, months. Like, he would have kept doing it until the guy was just dead and just, beat up from his injuries probably. But yeah, just I that's what I love, is that the guy he is a psychopath. He doesn't miss a beat, and he doesn't like, oh, maybe I should change my ways. No, like, he just, it's nothing to him. Like, he doesn't think he's doing anything wrong. He's just going about his day. Anybody in his way gets killed or raped or just mutilated. And I'd forgotten about his friend in the woods that is a legitimate cannibal. I forgot about that part. It's been a while since I've seen the movie. So when that happened, I was like, oh yeah, I remember this now. Holy shit.
Yeah, we've got everything. We've got cannibals too.
And then and in the hospital, I forgot how, like, and that's the thing, is that I was reading the reviews in this movie, and someone called this torture porn, and I was like, man, okay, I'm about to rewatch it. And there is a lot of torture scenes, but it's for a reason. Like, there's catharsis in it and emotion, and it's not just, oh, I don't know this random person we're opening on, I'm gonna tear their ribs off in this highly constructed bullshit machine. Like, there's reason to this, and that's what makes good torture in movies. Like, because I never really had to look away or anything in Hostel or Saw, because it was fake. It looked fake. It felt fake. There was nothing behind it, and I was just like, whatever, random person that I don't know. This movie, you're, like, looking away as he's driving a screwdriver into this guy's ankle slowly. And then the final scene of him, like you said, don't you feel regret? Like, he needs something. He needs a reaction out of this man to finish this. That's why he's doing it. He wants this guy to feel regret. He wants him to feel remorse, say sorry for killing his wife. But he doesn't, so he's just like, okay, I have to get this done, otherwise this is going to consume me.
The thing is, and I definitely would not say that it's a con on behalf of the film, that fact that we as an audience are going, stop, just stop, just kill him and move on, because I feel like we are in the same place as a lot of the other characters in the film, like his father-in-law, who at first is all for it, like, yep, here are the suspects, like, happily go find him, go do this. But even he gets to a point where he's like, you need to stop now, this needs to end, this isn't good for you. And the cops are just like, you need to help us, bring him in, this isn't good. And, like, we are those people. We're all going, just stop, because shit is gonna hit the fan. And it does. And there is totally a point to everything that is going on. The only thing that there is no point to is our serial killer's actual crimes.
Yeah.
I feel like, on one hand, it's very accurate to a psychopath in that he feels nothing. I mean, it was such a great performance. Like, those eyes were vacant as hell. I don't know how he did that, but that was scary. But at the same time, I'm like, I wish that he felt something. And I'm not necessarily saying remorse or any of that, because that would be completely pointless. But usually a serial killer does something, there's either some sexual gratification or there's something like that. So I wish that I could see him feeling like he got some kind of enjoyment or thrill or something out of it, because just to watch him like, yeah, I bludgeoned you, and now I've dragged you here, and now I'm just going to sit here for a moment, and then I'm going to kill you, and then I'm going to cut you up, and then I'm going to clean it up. I'm like, but what did you actually get out of that? Like, you just treated it like you just went outside to, like, pluck the weeds or something, and that kind of bugged me. And it's a small thing, and I just wish that there had been some kind of motivation, no matter how sinister. I wish that there was one. But that does make it so much worse for the protagonist, because he probably would be like us, wanting, I need a reason. I need a something that explains why my wife is no longer here. And he's never going to get that. He's desperate for it. He needs it. But we as an audience know there's no happy ending to this. And you feel, you couldn't think that the pain he is in could get any worse. And this is where, as a revenge film, it's completely different to, I'm going to say, American revenge films. Because most of the time with American revenge films, at least, the person who seeks out revenge gets their revenge. And they're, like, perfectly fine and unfazed by the end of it. But the whole point of revenge, and it's why there's the saying, an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind, is that revenge essentially does more damage to you than it does to the person you're trying to get revenge on. And this film completely encapsulates that, because by the end of it, at first he can just blame the death of his wife on this guy. But now, because of his own actions, his father-in-law has been killed, his sister-in-law has been killed, and that's on him now. So their blood is on his hands. It's like, well, now you've got to grieve 3 people. So when this is all over, and at the end he just completely has an absolute mental breakdown and snaps, and he's just broken down in the road. It's like, yep, that pretty much sounds about right. And you feel for him, because it's just like, yeah, that, how else was this meant to end? Oh god, my heart breaks for the guy. Really, such a good performance though. Oh.
And that's the thing, like, he has his chances to get out. Like, he has, like, the chance to be, okay, like, you've taken this revenge out on this guy, like, he's gotten what he deserves. Either turn him over to the law or kill him. Like, and even his father-in-law, like you said, was all gung-ho about this, and then suddenly he's like, okay, this is getting too much. This is getting too bad. People are still getting hurt while this is happening. You need to stop this. And he doesn't, and it turns around and bites him in the ass hard. Like, the only 2 people that still love him in this world are now gone. He's obviously lost his job, because, like, the cops know what he's doing and, like, you know, find out, like, what's been going on. Because he even...
insanity.
Yeah, like, he literally even kidnaps the guy to get revenge out on him. Like, in front of the police. In front of the cops. So his life is over, too. Like, it's cost him everything to do this. And like you said, there's no motivation, and I feel like that's what makes the character good for me. I get what you're saying, where it's like, okay, why is he killing these women? Like, because he doesn't, like, he assaults that nurse, but it just feels like he's just doing it, like, for power reasons, and maybe that's his motivation. But I do like that.
Yeah, it almost feels like boredom. Like, I'm bored. What else am I gonna do?
And I like that. It's just like, there's no, you know, like, he wouldn't fit on an episode of Law and Order SVU. Like, there's no, you know, the therapist, the Jurassic Park, Dr. Wu wouldn't come in and be like, well, this is his motivation. No, like, he has no motivation. He has no pattern. He has no, oh, he leaves this at the crime scene. This is his calling card. No, he's just this phantom, this force of nature that has been created through something. And it's just, It's almost boredom. Like he's just kind of driving around in his van and like, oh, there's a woman on the side of the road. I guess I'll kill her tonight. And it is. It's just like going about his day. You know, with the second victim he kills, he's just like calmly reaching in the back of his van for his pipe, and he's like, where is this thing? I don't know.
That's the only thing that ever frustrated him. Is like, where is my weapon? It's just like, oh, that gets a reaction out of you. Yeah. Okay, that's like, crazy.
The real world annoyances like actually annoy him, but killing someone has no effect on him. And I don't know. It was just seeing his performance, and he's the lead actor in Old Boy as well. He's the protagonist in Old Boy. So I remember when I first watched these, I watched these almost, I think, like maybe a day apart. So it was crazy seeing the two different performances from this actor. Yeah, don't ever watch these movies a day apart. Holy crap, that was a mistake. I just got suggested these two because like I said, I was like, oh, what are some good foreign movies? And someone's like, oh, I liked Old Boy.
Literally got tossed in the deep end.
Just, oh man, God. Yeah, I do not recommend this as a double feature.
But a great example on some great character acting. I mean,
absolutely. Like this guy is an act. Like both of these leads, they have so much range, and I want them to do more. You guys probably, if you guys are only familiar with American movies, he was the main antagonist in the movie Lucy, the Luc Besson, Scarlett Johansson movie, which sucks. But yeah, there's so much to unpack about this movie, and like even also it's regardless of like the ethical questions, every time he catches up with him, it's so damn satisfying to see him just kick the shit out of him. And I just like I know you should stop him, but man, that uppercut just felt so great.
I think that's probably one of the reasons why those scenes are even more effective than I mean, they're already like pretty in your face. I mean, the number of times where I'm going, no, which I'm all for. I'm happy to get that reaction out of a movie. That's kind of stuff that I want. But there's so much time between each one. So you kind of like lulled into okay, yeah, things are going, and then shit happens. You're like, oh damn, I didn't appreciate the break. And then this happens again, and it goes there. It's every moment of this film. It's like it's 0 to 100. You're just going along, and then bang, and I don't have a problem with that because I think that is such a great thing to do because it constantly catches you unawares. Although maybe the gaps did go for a little bit too long. Like I said, I only had a couple of cons, but definitely not him being a psychopath. It's a double-edged sword.
It is. I get what you're saying about it, though. Like, because I think it's just like a human thing where you want motivate, like, why are you doing this to people? Type of thing, yeah. And you want that, and it's almost like looking back on it, it's almost satisfying. You're like, sometimes there is no reason. It's just he's just a crazy person.
The only other con I had is the number of times our psychopath encounters other psychopaths. It's like he's a fucking magnet for it. It's insane.
Yeah.
Like, first, he gets his ass kicked, wakes up, oh, look, it's a taxi. Oh, no, it's not just any taxi. It's a taxi with 2 psychopaths in it who had already just attacked the cab driver and were looking for somebody else to attack. And it's like Psycho notices Psycho. He immediately knows what these people are, which kind of, I like that, although some people might say it's unrealistic, but some people say that serial killers or something, like they can kind of sense each other. It's like they just get that vibe, and he knows right off the bat what is going on. He's just like, okay, well, I guess I'll go first, and he just butchers the living shit out of them, and he doesn't care. And then he goes and hangs out with his cannibal buddy and his girlfriend, and I don't know what kind of crazy shit she gets up to, but she's dating a cannibal, so I'm imagining some fucked up shit she does too. I don't know what, but I imagine it's something. And we see him doing some stuff, and the fact that here's our serial killer. We've watched him do some insane stuff, And there he is, taking the moral high ground, picking on his buddy, like calling him disgusting and a sicko because he eats people. I'm like, oh yes, because you are so much better than he is. It's nuts. And I don't know if we needed that guy included, although I do like that our antagonist just was like, why not, I'll just beat the crap out of you too. And he goes, what, go for broke. But I don't know if that was needed. But
I get what you're saying. I think the reason they had that in there was, one, to establish just how evil our main bad guy was, because like you said, the guy eating the people, I can't remember what he says, but he tries to make fun of him, and like our main bad guy is like, do you know who I am? Like, do you know who you're talking to? And the cannibal guy like starts freaking out. He's like, yeah, you're right.
And cries.
I'm sorry. It starts
crying. He starts crying.
And then also, it's like, it's almost like the movie's still trying to make us root for our protagonist by like, see, if he hadn't let him go, this cannibal guy would still be out there eating people. So he just see, he's still doing some good, right? And like, so it's also very cathartic to like, okay, like, oh, he's found this place, now he gets to beat the crap out of everybody. So it's like the film is almost trying to say like, okay, he's still doing some good. He's gonna catch him this time. He's gonna keep him caught, and then he doesn't. And you're like, ah, damn it.
I was disappointed with that guy. One thing that I have learned, he must eat brains, because I have learned from watching enough movies that they say if you're going to eat a human body, do not eat the brains, because the chemicals of the human brain can actually kill you. So there's a tip for people. Thank you, horror films, teaching me not to be a cannibal. And obviously I think he's had one too many chemicals go to his brain because he's an idiot. And the fact that he's going, oh, this guy is chasing you, he likes the hunt, he's just like us. I'm like, dude, not even close. You do this basically for food, but you obviously get off on this, so there's that. This dude is just fucking nuts. Our dude is chasing you all. He's in pain. He's not getting off on it. He's trying to deal with it. It's like, this is just how I'm gonna deal with things. And it's in those moments where you see him, like the grief starts to get to him and he starts crying and he's just so broken, and then he kind of like he's telling himself, no, I can't deal with it, and he just kind of instantly stops, where he's like, no, I'm gonna go do something else. And I'm like, oh god, I just want to go and hug him, but also I don't, because I'm scared of him.
And that, like, that's why I liked having, like, I get what you're saying about the cannibal guy being so kind of like over the top and superfluous. Like, I truly get that. But just having that moment where he takes the girl, out of her like dungeon and he's about to kill her, but he's still kind of like, to not put it in too fine of terms, playing with his food, where like he's like, oh, do you like this? Do you like this? Better be nice. Like, I can kill you quick. I can do this. You should have said sorry. You should have said sorry. When our main bad guy would just be like, dead, like wouldn't have done anything, just clubbed her or cut her head off or something. That's like the difference in psychopaths, is like that guy does have a motivation. Like, he likes that power. He probably doesn't, like, he's convincing himself he likes to eat, humans, but it's really more about, having the power over someone because you probably was shunned as a kid or a boy or something like that. Because, like, she's like, I'm so sorry. He's like, oh, you're sorry? Oh, well, you should have said that earlier. Like, and so you see, like, the games he plays with his victims, when our main bad guy doesn't play games. He just mindlessly kills people. And that's what I liked, just like seeing the two different sets of psychos, is that, like, there's motivation here, and then you have to find your own motivation with our main antagonist, because it could be honestly anything.
He does, at least, I will say, you can tell he has issues. Like, even if he is very unfeeling, there is something there, because, and I do believe this is I can't remember if it's a trait of a sociopath or a psychopath. I can't remember. My psychology is failing me now. but he has a very, very, very short fuse, and he does blow up at random moments. Like when he's abducted this poor schoolgirl, and she's obviously terrified, and first he's kind of just, he's playing with her, and then somehow, in the fact that he's just going off on this monologue like a psycho would do, he somehow has, in doing so, set himself off. And he's now enraged and he's going to take it out on her. I'm like, oh yeah, he crazy. He's not just a psycho. He's fucking nuts. And it's just, oh god, there's just, even at the end, when he actually thought by the end that he'd won. Like, I'm pretty sure that he was completely faking in his begging, like, just kill me or just don't kill me. And then of course he's like, I give up, I'm not gonna bother pretending, I just don't fucking care. You're like, do what you want, I don't care.
I think he didn't want to be tortured anymore, so he's like, oh, I think this is what the guy wants. And then when he didn't kill him, he was just like, nope, I'm done, like, I've won. Your family's dead, I've killed your whole family, your wife was pregnant, you didn't know it. Like, just starts saying the most vile, awful things to him, because that's just who he is. Like, he's not gonna pretend. And he's just like, whatever, you're gonna do what you're gonna do, and I've already won, and you can't do anything about it.
Yeah, that's the most devastating part of all this. There was never any hope for a happy ending. You were just going, yep, he pretty much ruined your life, and then you ruined your own life. It's not great. Like, like somebody might look at it and go, yes, he got justice. It's like, how? And I think he went too far in how he ended things. I don't think he needed to traumatize the poor serial killer's son. Like, you're already the son of a serial killer. Life's hard enough. Like, did he actually have to make the parents and the kid be the ones that actually killed him? I'm like,
that was so... I forgot about that part too. I was like, holy shit.
I mean, on that at least, I think he was just like, he was going, oh yeah, he's like, nah, that's fine, I can do this forever. It's like, yeah, but can you? Because
exactly,
he got you there.
I give I Saw the Devil a 4.5 out of 5. I still really enjoy this movie. The only reason I gave it like half a star off is just like rewatchability, just because this is a movie you only want to see every few years. Like, this isn't like a Halloween classic for me or anything like that. It's a very well made, well acted movie. It has everything you'd want in like a horror movie for me, but it's not one I'm gonna watch every year. Like, oh, Halloween time, let's watch I Saw the Devil, and then I'm gonna kill myself afterwards. No, but yeah, I still really enjoyed this movie. It really just takes you in, and it just like gives you this big terrible hug that you can't. It's like one of those hugs, like, oh, this is a good movie, and then it just like doesn't let you go. You're like, oh, this is uncomfortable. Okay, let me go, please. and then finally it does, like after 2.5 hours.
Yeah, I've been bouncing between 4 and a 4.5, and I'm gonna keep it at a 4.5.
Yay!
Yay! Because it is such a brilliant film. It is so well constructed. There is a purpose here, and our performances are just absolutely sensational. But it's one of those films that, yes, it is really, really good, but am I probably ever going to watch it again? No. But I can say that for a lot of films that I've seen where I'm like, oh my god, this is one of the greatest films ever. I'm like, but I don't ever want to watch you again.
No. Yeah.
But it's not perfect for me on account of the predictability that kind of weakens it for me. So if I can know everything that's going to happen before it happens, I'm not very happy about that. I mean, yay me for predicting it, but I don't actually want to. But I will ask one more question before we move on to our next film. And there's been, what would you say in this film was the worst torture moment, or the one that really made you cringe the most?
The Achilles. That I literally had to turn away. Just because, you know, it just kept going. Like, it did not relent. It didn't cut away. And it was just like...
Cut away.
yeah, that's what you did. But not only that he drove it in, that he pulled it out like perpendicular. Like
No.
he stabs him like this, but then doesn't just do that. Like he pulls it out of the heel and it's just like, ah.
Yeah, if you're someone who works as a doctor, then you're probably familiar with it, but there is one sound that is horrible, and it's the sound of an Achilles tendon tearing.
Yeah.
It is gristle. It was gristle. It's horrible. And even the whole time I'm going, stop. Oh god, oh god, oh god. Like every time I'm trying to like pull away from the screen, I'm like, it's not stopping.
Yeah.
That was
tough.
quite brutal. That was very harsh. Well, so our next film that I suggested for lovely Ben here is Martyrs, which is a 2008 French horror film that is written and directed by, let's see if I can pronounce his last name, Pascal Laugier. Let's hope I got that right. If not, oh well. And if to explain synopsis without... I mean, the synopsis I would give that would suck people into watching it without telling them what they're really in for would be that say that it's about a woman who, as a child, she has been abducted, held captive, and subjected to horrific torture, and then she grows up, and her best friend essentially go to find the people responsible. That's the Sunday school version. As it certainly gets a little bit more intense than that. So, Ben, I didn't see any bitching on Twitter, and you didn't hit my DMs to tell me that you hate me.
I did. It was a very well-made movie. I didn't love it. There were things that I really liked about it. The performances by both of these girls are amazing. Like I loved that part of it. I loved kind of almost like the cold open of the movie where it just kind of just dumps a bucket of cold water on you. It's like, oh, get ready for this shit. To get straight into spoilers, I wish it had gone a little more full horror, like full psychological with everything.
That's funny because I would say that this is probably the most psychological horror film I've ever seen.
Really? I don't know. Like, I liked what Lucy was going through. I liked to see her struggle, and it was almost a detriment that her character left so early, just because everything am I getting her name? It's Lucy? Okay, yeah. Yep. Just making sure I get the names right. What she does to the family at the beginning, you're playing catch up through so much of this movie, and you're just like, what's going on? But I think, I don't know. I wish that I'd gotten a little more time with Lucy, and maybe it's just like the way it's presented with like the flashbacks and everything, and maybe it would have been just better like chronologically, like growing up with these girls, but then you're not having the shock of like the family murder. So I get why they did it this way, but I felt like just having more time with Lucy and like being there like through her torment, being there with this haunting that she's going through would have made it just more effective for me, at least, because it just felt like I was wondering how she lived this long, because if she's getting attacked this much and this often, I felt like she would have died or killed herself a long time ago. And she does say when she gets to the house that the attacks are getting more brutal, so maybe that's why. Maybe they weren't like this intense. But even so, like, there's that beginning flashback where she's in bed, and then the girl is on her bed, and you're like, okay, she got attacked that night. And then while they're in the house for 8 hours, 12 hours maybe, she gets attacked like 4 times. I'm like, how has she made it to 25, 26, however old these girls are? Like, how has she made it this far? And like, it made me wonder, like, I wish it would have taken its time where like, you don't have to show, like, it doesn't have to be a 12-hour long movie, but, show the passage of time of them either cleaning up the bodies or trying to do that, or, leaving that house and then, getting re-kidnapped and brought back to it. And that would have been like a whole new horror aspect to it, to where just like, there's just too much happening right now for me to believe that she's lived with this ailment for this long. That's like my main thing. I was like, how has she made it this far with this, like, just in her head, spoiler alert, with just like this going on with her. And then I get the almost non-payoff at the end of like the enlightenment thing. I get that, but it's also like, I watched this girl get tortured for days and days and days, and it's like, I need something. Especially when you especially when you hear her getting skinned alive. You don't see it, you hear it, and that's fucking worse. Like, it's so bad. But yeah, so go ahead, give me what you got.
Martyrs is one of my absolute favorite films. It's also the only it's the number one horror film, probably maybe only one of two horror films that makes me cry, because it is so impactful. And I've recently read an interview with the director because I just felt like it. And the way he was describing the film and what he wanted for it and what he was aiming for, I got really happy because I'm like, that I got all that. That's everything I got from this film. So I was really happy. I think we also, if you haven't seen it, the ending is very ambiguous, and pretty much everybody who has seen it has a different interpretation of the ending.
Yeah.
And the director has not clarified what the ending means. So it's really up to you. We'll hypothesize in a moment, because I want to hear what Ben's take is. I have some suspicions of what it is. But this, I think that the one moment that kind of explains why the film is shot the way that it is, why we only focus on certain people at certain times, comes down to, I wouldn't call this exposition, but it's in that ballpark, but it's its more attractive cousin. So it's this moment where Anna, who is the best friend of Lucy, has basically, she's been through her own form of hell, and she's pretty much by the end of it thought, okay, I really don't think what my best friend has done, A, is right, and B, she was actually pretty convinced that she'd killed an innocent family. Keep in mind, she killed 2 children who were 100% innocent. There was no need for that at all. And she's pretty much like, oh God, I'm surrounded by all these dead bodies, and I don't think that she even got the right people. Lo and behold, turns out...
Do you think the kids knew? Because she asked the son, who was 18. The daughter, for sure, I give the benefit of the doubt of her being innocent. But do you think the son knew what the parents were doing in the basement? Because she asks him, and he doesn't answer her.
I don't believe that he does. There doesn't seem to be any children at the end when we see, like, the whole group gathering. They all seem to be, like, middle-aged and older. So I don't believe that the children would have any idea. And I don't think... They seem to actually, like, care about their kids, so I don't think they'd subject their kids to this. It's like, oh yeah, I'll do it to someone else's kid, but not my own.
Yeah.
So that's how I think. But she realizes that Lucy did have the right people. She did have the right house. These people were the ones who tortured her as a child. And she finds, basically, there's a torture chamber in the basement, but it's like the best, most elaborate, and most expensive torture chamber you've ever seen.
Right.
And money went into this. And basically she finds another victim down there who has been brutalized. Like, you'd think this person isn't real. How are they alive? It's just this woman who's literally skin and bones, and she's chained up. And the fact that Anna doesn't skip a beat, she goes straight into helping her, which even her helping her is brutal. Like, I'm like, oh God, take her to a fucking hospital, man. Hospital. She didn't. Maybe it was because she didn't want to end up in trouble with the cops, but just dump her and run. Plenty of people do it. But eventually she is confronted by the woman who is in charge of this entire society of people who are torturing all these women, and her name is just called Mademoiselle. And she basically goes into this monologue. But there is so many answers that explain the layout of the film and why it has been the way that it is, that are just so brilliant. Like, I think there are a lot of people who wouldn't catch it, even though it's like right there, but sometimes maybe things are just too obvious and people just are expecting a bit of mystery, where she's explaining how they're looking for martyrs, which is the whole point of the name of the film, which is a person who can endure so much pain to a point where they kind of transcend to a place before death, where they kind of get a glimpse of what is to come in the afterlife. And she goes in to start talking about how there's victims and there's martyrs, and how the world only creates victims anymore. And that's such an important theme. It's like winners and losers, and it's so true. And Lucy and Anna are the perfect two examples of this. Lucy is 100% a victim, and there's this part where, and I'm gonna probably sound a little callous if I say this, but I don't mean it, I'm not being mean to anyone, but there are people in this world who wear their victimhood like a badge of honor, and they just kind of live in being a victim and refuse to move past it. Yes, we have trauma, I got my own, but there are people who just want to live and dwell in it, and there are people who try to move on. Lucy has never tried to move on. She's had a best friend who has literally been there to stitch her wounds, and she kinda, you see that she's taken this victim stance, like poor me, because even by the end of it, Anna's the one burying the bodies. She's the one cleaning up the mess that this chick has made. She didn't have to, but she is. And what's Lucy doing? She's just standing upstairs watching, like, you know, why should I have to do this? I'm the victim here. And probably one of the best moments is when Anna has a bit of a meltdown and she starts crying because they're carrying these bodies, and she's horrified at what she's seeing, as a normal person would be. And Lucy does something that really makes me want to smack her. And she grabs the woman, well, we think she's dead, but she's not dead. She grabs her hand and forces it into Anna's face and says, "You smell this? This is what I had to live with. This is disgusting. This is what they did to me." I'm like, why are you brutal? Why are you being such a bitch to her? She has been taking care of you for like 20 fucking years, man. Cut her some slack. She's not even called the cops yet. You should be bloody grateful. And you just see they've got that dynamic. Anna is putting up with all this shit, and she doesn't complain, she just takes it. And then even when Lucy is dead and she comes across another victim, she just bounces to the next one. It's like, I'll take care of you too. So you can already see that you've got, here's your martyr, here's your victim. And another example you get that is when the Mademoiselle talks about how this systematic torture, it's designed to be a certain way, and that one of the stages in the torture results in hallucinations. And she's like, well, what did Lucy hallucinate? And Anna says a woman trying to kill her, which if you come into this film, you're going to watch it and you're like, oh my god, there's this scary creature that's trying to kill her, until you realize that it's just a physical manifestation of her own guilt. She escaped, there was a woman that was left behind, and her little brain, which is completely broken from abuse, just couldn't live with the guilt of leaving this woman to die. And so it's manifested in something that's attacking her, but really she's attacking herself. And Anna's always known this, but it's like, how do you tell a crazy person that they're crazy? And she says that, and she says, well, yep. And then she says, Sarah, who was the woman that Anna finds in the basement, she says, yeah, she hallucinated bugs crawling over her skin. She would rather cut off her arm than deal with that. It's even, when you hallucinate, it's your brain trying to kind of protect you. And yet for these two people, when they're being tortured, their brain, even their hallucinations, are still treating them like a victim. Well, I'm going to give you something else to be running from. Where Anna, when she gets to that stage, she hallucinates Lucy is there and comforting her and taking care of her and kind of just being like, it's okay, just let it go, just don't be afraid anymore and it'll be fine. And that's when things change. So you just see that there are so many elements where you've got like victims and martyrs, and this kind of tone of like, when all you have is pain, how do you turn that pain around and make it work for you? And I think like pain, I think, is the number one subject of this film. And
yeah, for sure.
Boy, do you, oh God, you'd have to be heartless not to feel anything in this film.
I get what you're saying, but when it's like you literally said that these guys have made basically a step-by-step program of torturing women and breaking them down mentally, to call someone a victim and say like you should just get over that, like they can't. Like their brain is literally betraying them, saying this thing is happening. And it'd be like, you know, someone punching you in the face and me saying like, no, that's just your brain telling you. You're actually punching yourself in the face. But you have your bloody nose, you have, you know, your busted lip, and you're like, no, I saw someone punch me in the face. Like you can't convince me. Like there's people that are denying climate change even though the shit's happening right in front of their face. If someone got punched in the face by someone, they're not going to believe that you said that, oh no, dude, you punched yourself in the face that hard. Like, don't try this, but try and punch yourself in the face as hard as you can. Your brain will literally stop you from doing that because your brain stops you from hurting yourself. Like go to the, make sure it's an empty street or something, but just go to a curb and lean over the curb or like the edge of a pool or something. Your body will automatically pull you back. Like if you slowly lean over a curb or an edge, your body will automatically pull you back because it's trying to save you. So if your brain is literally chemically trying to kill you, saying that there's bugs on your thing so much that you are ignoring the pain of sawing your skin off, or literally, like that was the moment that I had to turn away, is when she just takes the knife and just all the way down her arm just cuts. Like I was like, oh, I had to stop the movie for like 10 minutes just because the whole movie up at that point was just physical abuse.
Something about straight blades. Oh
yeah.
God.
And it's that small sound. I don't know what sound they use, but like it's just like this, all just down your skin, just gets me every time.
That tearing sound.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And so like I don't know, just and then what is Anna's reward for being a martyr? Getting her skin cut off while she feels everything and getting 10 seconds of seeing the afterlife before she dies the most painful death possible. I don't know, like
well, she ain't dead yet. She's just catatonic.
Exactly. She's not like they're not giving her any painkillers.
She's switched off. She is switched off. The brain is at capacity. I mean, I get what you're saying, and I'm not saying that she could have been fixed. It's the fact that she accepted that yep, this is just how it is, and she didn't really attempt to kind of seek any real help. Her idea of helping herself was, well, if I go and kill the people who did this thing will leave me alone because I will have, freed myself of the guilt. The worst part is that when she ends up killing herself, she flat out slits her own throat because she kind of just reaches a moment. She reaches her absolute breaking point where she realizes it's never going to stop. Yep. No matter what I do, I cannot escape my own guilt. And she just ends it right then and there. And I think to a degree, like you said, how did she last this long? And as you said, she mentions that things had been getting worse. I think it's also the fact that she seemed to have good moments, like when she was young, she was in a place with Anna, and she was just kind of like being happy and, like playing with sticks and doing all that. Like when they had those moments, she seemed okay, like it was kind of repairing a little bit in her. But as soon as she kind of starts to remember or dwell on those things, because it didn't seem like anybody really took the time to try and repair her, because psychologists just kind of went, oh, well, we don't think what happened to you actually happens. Like, well, maybe if you believed her, you
Yeah.
could have actually helped her. But
Yeah, the guy
because
was
you
like,
didn't.
"Oh, there's no signs of sexual abuse. It was just normal abuse." I was like, "What the fuck is normal abuse? Like, what kind of sentence is that?" And just thinking about it now, I think the reason why it got worse is that she was in the house. Like when she got to the place, I know she was like, tortured at like a different facility, but I feel like, when she saw her, I can't think of the words, her torturers and her abusers, that like the guilt and manifestation like started to become like just greater and greater, because she's like, oh God, these are the people that I left this girl with, and now like it's coming back to haunt her. So that makes sense
Yeah,
now.
I think it's all, like, I think it was a trigger for her. Like, they established it's like, well, wow, you skip all these years. How did she track these people down? Basically, it's just a series of unfortunate events where she was, like, flipping through the newspaper one day and she sees this news and a photo that it's about this young girl swimming competition, and there she is standing with a picture with her brother and her parents. Well, it just so happens the parents in that photo were the ones who tortured her. So in that moment, it would have, anything that would have been mild before definitely would have been amplified. It would have triggered a cataclysmic event in her brain where it's just like, oh, hang on, I could never remember what they look like. Now I see them, everything's flooding back. And I think just that newspaper article was like, yeah. I think things would have been better for her if she hadn't found that one thing. But yeah, that was kind of the trigger that shit hit the fan.
Yeah, I think it's just like, and that's the thing with foreign horror, is that it doesn't give you an out. It doesn't give you what you want. Like in I Saw the Devil, bad things could have happened, but his stepsister and his father-in-law, they'd be fine. And the guy would have, been like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, please forgive me," and then he would have died a horrible death. In this movie, Anna would have said, after she gets her skin peeled, she would have, like, when the Mademoiselle came over, she would have, the American version would have been like, she leaned over and been like, "Go fuck yourself," and she would have died, or something like, "Yeah, we got him, woo, stick it to the man." But there's almost no catharsis to this movie, and maybe that's why, like, it's kind of bugging me, where it's just like, oh, like, especially when, like, she's doing so well, she's persevering so much, and then, she's, like, gently feeding her, like, you see, like, the difference. You see, instead of, like, oh, force, take your peanut butter, and here's your water, whatever. Like, the last time she gets fed, it's like, oh, like feeding a baby, like, gentle spoonfuls, like, slowly sipping the water, and you're like, oh, what's the change for? And then she's like, okay, just hold off. The pain is almost over. And the next thing, she's getting her skin cut off. What just happened? But but also, you can't beat someone like that daily and have them live. Like, that's a nitpick. I know it's a nitpick for like torture and stuff.
That's why it's not daily. I mean, we see it happen, like, we're just seeing when it happens, but it's not daily, so she could have been there for weeks, months, but obviously there is a break time because they have to do it to the point where they can keep you alive. Yeah. So it's like, we'll let you heal a bit, but not all the way.
Yeah, that was also, like, another thing, is like, they didn't show the passage of time very well. Like the fact that they cut her hair short, like, right at the beginning, and then shaved it off screen. I was like, okay, well, you should have done that opposite. Like, you should have shaved her head and then, like, had her hair grow out for a little bit to show how long she's been there, or something, like, because I didn't know how long she was down there for. And like you said, like, the beatings weren't daily, but the way the film was edited, it seemed like it was, because it was like a montage. It was like, feed, beat, sleep, feed, beat, sleep, or something like that, where
Fair enough.
I just didn't know how long she was down there for, and I was wondering, I was like, okay, how long has this been going on?
But then again, I would say that that's perfect, because that's how it would be for her. She has no concept of time, she has no windows, so she doesn't know when it's day or night, so she doesn't know how long she's been there. She doesn't know what day is what day. Like, have they been gone 12 hours? Have they been gone 2 days? Has it been 1 minute? You have no concept of time. So for me, that's just like a reflection of, yeah, she's going through this deprivation, this torture that you got nothing. You got nothing but four walls. And what the fuck do you do with that? And it's depressing, and watching her go through that level of pain is hard to watch because you know she's not getting out. You're just like, oh god, you kind of, you want her to die, not in like a bad way. It's like, just put the girl out of her misery, for God's sake. And it's not going to happen. And just when you're like, oh, they're being, like you said, oh, they're being nice, is it okay? Oh no, oh fucking hell, like no, and but it's the fact that when I read the director's interview, he used a word that I never would have thought to use. He said horror is a very melancholy genre. And I went, I've never thought of associating horror with that word before. But then I reflected on it. I'm like, the horror films that have impacted me the most and have stayed with me are the ones that had these depressing stories or these depressing elements to them that I could kind of relate to. I'm like, oh wow, it is actually fucking melancholy as hell. I didn't actually notice that, which is probably why I don't enjoy those films like Saw, where it's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna, let's do this in 3D because that's a brilliant fucking idea. What do I get out of that? What does that impact my psyche? No, it doesn't. Whereas this concept of this poor girl who's torturing herself and she doesn't know that she's torturing herself, and it's all because she was tortured, and this other girl who was just trying to be nice, trying to help people, and it gets fucked over, and how she kind of represents, those people, like, Anna loved Lucy. You could say it's romantic, you could say that it's not, she did try to kiss her, but you could just say it was just, like, we're in a shitty situation, I need something. But it's that thing of, she's one of those people, it's those relationships of toxic relationships. It's like, I love you and I will do anything for you. And it's like, well, that's going to bite you in the ass one day. It's like, oh, voila, it bit her in the ass. It's literally going to be the death of her. And it's intense. I would say everything about this film is intense, because even when you think, oh yeah, it's going to be fine, it's like, I don't think this is going to have a happy ending.
No.
But the ending has a lot of people pretty torn. I'm gonna say now, I don't think Ben and I are gonna agree on the events at the end. So how did you interpret the ending?
I don't know. Like the ending, where the mademoiselle kills herself because of what Anna told her, supposedly. I think it was all for naught. Like, I think that's why mademoiselle killed herself, is that, like, in this universe, like, there's nothing there. So, like, she's going into this catatonic state, and I don't know what she says, but I don't think that there is an afterlife in the movie. I believe in God. But, like, in the movie, like, I don't think there is an afterlife or a next, existential plane, or whatever you want to call it, heaven, hell, whatever. I don't think there is one in this universe, and so I think that just, like, her whole life's work has been for naught, and she's been torturing innocent young girls as a business. And I think,
well, like a call.
I think this is just me wanting, like, a cathartic ending and, like, some type of payoff. So I think, like, that's my interpretation of it, is like, yeah, there's nothing there. Fuck you. You're dead.
See, there's a lot of people, and I gotta disagree with the logic here. A lot of people think that Anna told her, yeah, there is an afterlife, there's an everything, and she was like, hurrying off to get there. I'm like, that does not sync up with anything in the film. I'm like, you watched your best friend grow up being fucked in the head. Yeah. You have just endured all this pain, knowing you're not going to get anything out of it. Are you going to give them what they want? Like, I don't understand that logic. But I always had my opinion on it, and after reading that interview with the director, it's kind of solidified my take on the ending, because of when he said, when you have winners and losers, and when all you have in life is pain, how do you take that pain and make it benefit you? And I'm like, okay, cool, I can work with this. It's true, all she had was pain. It's like, okay, so how does she turn her pain around? And for me, because there is a lot of revenge elements to this film, so I weighed it up when people going, oh yeah, she told her there's an afterlife. I'm like, no, this woman is so proud of what she's doing. She's so sure of what she's doing. She believes in it 1000%, and all these other nutters believe it too, that not only do they believe that there is an afterlife, they believe that if they can make a martyr, someone can tell them exactly what's on the other side, what's coming for us. And if, using their logic, if she was told that, yeah, there is an afterlife and it's all lovely and ethereal and it's going to be so great and you're going to party with Jesus every night or some shit like that, I do not think she would have done what she did. I think that there is a solid chance that she would have killed herself, but you have to look at the series of events. One, those people were called to that house prior to her hearing what Anna had to say. It was preemptive. It's like everybody has been called, like, she's conscious, it's happened, everybody get here. So I think in that time, as everybody was heading there, she's been told this. If it was being told what she wanted to hear, I think she would have announced it to the group, and if she was going to kill herself, I think she would have gone out in a blaze of glory. Like, she just seems like that kind of person. Like, she would have been like, haha, I'm justified. It's that kind of shit.
They would have drank like some poison Kool-Aid and gone off together or something.
Manson style. But I think that Anna, using the last of the strength that she had left, knowing she didn't have much time and she's only got a brief time to say anything, it's like, what would she say? Like, I think she flat out told her, whether it was true or not. I personally believe that she did see something, but I think what she chose to tell Mademoiselle was that I saw nothing. There is nothing. And it's not just to say that there's nothing, but it's to kind of tell her that you spent 17 years brutally kidnapping and torturing young girls and young women, and you justified it to yourself so that you could sleep at night like it was some greater purpose for you to fulfill what has been your life's work. And I'm here to tell you, it was for fucking nothing. There is no excuse to what you did, and you're shit out of luck. I don't think that she killed herself to enter the afterlife. I think it was that she killed herself with, wow, so not only has everything I've done meant nothing, how do I now live the rest of my life knowing that? I think she killed herself because she couldn't live with it. She proved herself to be a victim just like all the others. She couldn't live with the shit she did. She had a choice, and she's like, I'd rather go into oblivion than have to live with that knowledge. I can't do it. And it's the same reason why she didn't tell the others. It's like, she says, do you believe there's something? He goes, yeah. She's like, and he's like, well, did you see anything? She's just like, keep believing. Keep doubting. You know, she's not going to tell them, because if she did...
Yeah, the whole movement would be gone.
Like, everybody would be fucked. It's like, well... Also, there's a chance of, like, mass suicide, and I don't think she's going to do that either. But just that moment where it's all pretense is gone. You have to look at everything in that scene. She takes off her hairpiece. She takes off her makeup. She takes off her everything. She's just completely stripping away the facade because there's nothing left.
Yeah.
And then she puts a gun in her mouth and she blows her brains out. And at that point, Anna has slipped into catatonia. I believe that was her just using every last ounce of pain that she has endured to give her the strength to just use her last words to be like, I'm not giving you what you want. Because that's my take.
No. I like that take, honestly, and it's almost like making their whole philosophy a fallacy, because you want these martyrs, like these strong women that refuse to quit, refuse to give up. But what do you get when you have someone that doesn't give up, that doesn't give in to your beliefs? You're not
Mm,
gonna get what you want.
true.
It's like, to like dumb it down, it's like, oh, like we're gonna create the strongest super soldier ever. We're gonna get, the buffest guy, the strongest guy, the smartest guy. But when you give him a super serum or whatever, he's not gonna do what you want. He's gonna become Red Skull. That's why you get a Captain America guy with like good morals but doesn't have the physical qualities, and you
Mm.
get the Captain America. You don't get the Red Skull. It's like that's the two dumbest examples I can think of. But it's like that, where you want like this strong person to be like, oh, we need someone to survive this and not have hallucinations, not go crazy, not have their mind break. You have to like do this. We have this down to a science. We just haven't had someone survive the science yet.
Mm.
But then when you have someone that does that, they're not going to be like, oh yeah, let me give you exactly what you want after you've abused me for God knows how long. I'm going to tell you exactly what you want to hear. Or, if there is an afterlife is what they're looking for, like they're going to tell them. Like, so either there isn't anything and you're going to tell them that, or you see what they want to see and you're going to withhold it. Those are going to be the only two options
Yeah.
of someone that you want who's not going to break. They're not going to suddenly break to give you the answers.
Yeah. No. No, that's totally it. There's just something very, I mean, okay. No, I wouldn't say the whole film is disturbing. I'd say it's impactful and definitely appeals to a few things. But that scene, just this entire cult of rich, I'm going to say rich bored people. That's the fuck what they are. Rich white. I think they were all white. I didn't see any color people. They're all white. Leave it to the fucking white people. We're all bastards. But just that moment where I think his name was Etienne, I don't remember, but he's giving this speech. It's like where they have said that in their 17 years of doing this, it's like, Jesus Christ, 17 years, oh my God, the number of people, oh my God, the victims, yikes. He said only four people had ever reached that stage.
Mm-hmm.
But Anna is the first person who's kind of come back to consciousness long enough to speak. And the way he's talking about her, he's speaking about her with such reverence, and everybody else is just hanging on every word, and he's like, we need to give our thoughts to what an incredible person she is. I'm like, dude, are you fucking serious?
Yeah.
You just filleted this chick and you are singing her praises, and I'm like, oh, this is just a bag of crazy. These people are so nuts. How can you do that to someone? And like, but we are so proud of you for sticking it out. Like, oh, you go. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Oh God, I don't know how you, like, these people are just nuts. And I'm sure I would have loved to just see the whole thing collapse, but it's like, now that you've cut the head off the snake, or essentially she blew her brains out, is the whole society going to crumble without her leadership? Because she did lead it. She was in charge of it. She created the rules, the structure, the whole thing. Will they fall apart without her? Or will they just continue? Is the question. There's just that, I mean, on one hand, you've got Anna, who is definitely that thing of the, like, the downtrodden. It's like, well, eventually, if you stomp on enough people, you've got enough people who are gonna fight back.
Yeah.
You got too many against you now, so it's kind of like that. But on the other hand, it's like, but there is no real win. There's no real justice, and I don't know, there's something about that I think is so a reflection of society today. One is, again, victims and non-victims, and it's also that life is kind of suffering, and it's different degrees of suffering, and some of us can take it and some of us can't, and it's just like, well, how do we go about our life? And it's like, well, how fuck do we know? But there's something about watching this film that kind of makes you reflect, or at least for me, reflect on those things of like, oh god, like I've said, I cry about like 3 times watching this movie, and I think the older I get and the more I reflect on it, the more emotional it becomes. I'm like, hey, oh god, this is just really
it's a tough movie to watch for sure.
I mean, without a doubt, I think Pascal has written a tremendous film. I think that he wanted to do something he said was unpredictable and didn't follow typical tropes. I think that he succeeded in that. I think his directing was really good, but the performances sell it more than anything. Our two lead actresses, oh my god, I don't think I've ever seen two performances that are so raw, so visceral. Like, it feels real.
It does.
The way they react to everything, like, I almost feel like, is this a snuff film almost? Like, the performances are that good. Like, I feel like people just kind of locked them in a house and just subjected them to some shit. It's like, we'll just record whatever they react to. Like, that's how it is for me, because it doesn't feel like acting.
It's a tough movie to watch for sure. All right, Ashleigh, out of 5, what are you giving Martyrs?
5 out of 5. Always. Solid 5. I think it's brilliant. I can't find a fault with it. But what do you give it is the better question.
Talking about it, my grade definitely raised. I'm going to give it a 3.5. I did enjoy a lot about this movie. There's some like stuff, that... But it's definitely a good movie to talk about, and that's a good thing. Like, it's a movie that's worthy of discussion, and that makes it a good movie.
So we've got good, not great, not loved it, but good.
Good.
I'm gonna take this one. Anything above 2.5, anything above average, I'm taking that as a win. I'm gonna get a 5 one day, but 2.5, 3.5. That's great. I'll take it. I will take it. So I think overall, today was a good day.
Today was definitely a good day.
Thank you, France, and thank you, South Korea, for coming to our aid. Because I guess we just can't rely on America. That's what we've learned.
I don't blame you. Alrighty, guys. So, are we giving away next week's topic?
Yes.
Topic is going to be spoof movies, because we have been down in the dumps, in the dark horror, the murder, the revenge, the blood, the guts. We are going to lighten it up for you guys and go straight out comedy. I'm really looking forward to the movie that Ashleigh has given me, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what Ashleigh thinks about the movie that I gave her, because it is very near and dear to me. Not to be revealed till the next episode, but I will say that it is very depending on this podcast continuing of her enjoying this movie. That's how near and dear it is to my heart.
You heard it here, folks. It's pretty much a make or break, not just of this podcast, but essentially our friendship. I am going to be dumped on if I do not like this film. That's scary. Gosh. The pressure is on.
Absolutely. I will not sugarcoat it. The movies are objective. I realize that everybody's got their opinions, but if Ashleigh doesn't like this movie, she is wrong. I'll say that right now. I'll make this declarative statement. She is wrong.
He's brutal.
Yeah, absolutely. I take no quarter when it comes to this film. It is one of the few, only one of the few.
How weird is that? He's getting so testy about a spoof film.
Yep.
Spoof. It's like, no, there is no room for anything. No. It's like, nah, anything else, you can say what you want, but spoof. Oh, no.
Yeah. And I'm really hoping for a 5 out of Ashleigh, so we'll see if that happens.
What's the lowest you'll take?
Someone gave this movie a 6.4 out of 10, and I was very disappointed. So I'll say if I get less than a... If I get less than a 4, I'll be disappointed. If I get less than a 3, you're dead to me.
Oh God. Oh, well, at that point, I really hope there's an afterlife.
Yeah, exactly. I'll go full Martyrs on you and just all over.
I'm feeling a little flayed right now.
You will definitely get flayed next podcast if you don't give this movie a 5.
I feel raw and exposed, and I'm scared. But we are definitely going to try and bring more upbeat content.
Yes.
I'm going to optimistically assume that I'm going to like this film and assume that the series will continue. And if it does, you know, as we mentioned in the last episode, we've got December coming up, Christmas movies, which you can't go wrong with. So fantastic. So the question is just going to be coming like, is there films that one of us has seen and the other hasn't? I don't know.
Right.
Maybe. I don't know. We may also have to be a little more special in December because Ben's birthday is in December.
Yay.
So we have to really try to get along for that episode. No disagreeing, but again, which is probably the best time to be having Christmas movies because it's like slam dunk. And January is my birthday, so...
Ooh.
So hopefully we'll have something nice. I won't do anything horror related for my birthday. After October, I want a fucking break.
Yeah.
Please. No more horror movies. I can't do them anymore. I will be at capacity. November will be my movie-free month. Except for the one that Ben tells me to watch. That'll be my only exception. So it better be fucking good.
Oh, it's gonna be.
Oh, wait, no. 2. Because I'll have Flicks with the Chicks in November. So we'll see how it goes. But as always, because it's the spiel I go to for every episode, because you got to do some plugging. Even if you don't have an outlet. Ha ha ha. Poor electricity joke. In my defense, it's 5:45 in the morning.
That's
Cut
true.
me some slack, people.
Ashleigh is a champ.
I am. I'm just not an oracle champ, apparently.
You'll get there.
That's Ben's job. But if you are watching this on YouTube, then if you go into the description box, you will find links to Ben's YouTube channel and you will find links to his social media. You should definitely go and subscribe to him because, seriously, why aren't you people going and subscribing to him? What more do I have to say? Do I have to, pay you people? What do I gotta do? And then follow him on social media because, I don't know, he might follow you back.
I post some pretty dank memes, I'll be honest. I post some good stuff.
His meme game is quite on point.
Pretty good.
We have had many conversations that are just memes. It's been great. You can sub to me or not, completely your choice. And also, if you have SoundCloud and you're listening to us there, then you can follow us and like us on SoundCloud because that would be fantastic. And you know what? While we're at it, if you're watching on YouTube, or actually there is a comment section on SoundCloud, so if you can comment in response to this and maybe suggest a theme that you would like in a future episode, and we will see if we can make it happen, because sometimes we struggle to come up with ideas.
Yeah, you guys should do some work for us, why not?
And then we'll even give you a shout out in the episode.
Yeah, I'm definitely down to hear some different themes. There's so many movies out there. It's impossible to run out of themes or topics or films. So I want to see what you guys want us to talk about. Suggest a theme and then, a movie or two that goes along with that theme. And maybe we haven't seen it. Maybe one of us hasn't seen it. I'm down for that.
Give us something fresh and new. We're not Disney. We don't redo shit. We want fresh ideas here. I do actually like Disney, but come on, enough with the remakes. For fuck's sake.
Don't watch Lion King. It's so bad.
Oh, there's a plug. If you are not subscribed to Ben's channel, it doesn't matter. Go to his channel and watch his Lion King review. The most hilarious review of his I'd seen in ages. It was, oh God, it was worth everything to me. And it actually just made me love the original Lion King even more, if that was even possible. It just makes you want to go and do the hula.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Such a good song.
I watched that clip because the clip that they the thing that they did in the new movie is so fucking terrible. And I was like, well, if you're gonna make the same movie, make the same movie, because they did it perfectly the first time. What are you changing? And how did you add a half an hour? Where did this half hour come from? Give me my life back.
He's still upset about Can You Feel the Love Tonight taking place during the daytime.
It's in the title of the song. Okay. We gotta go before I go off, because
I take some solace in knowing that I haven't actually made Ben that level of angry yet. I don't even think the ninth gate got him that mad. No. We got close, but not there yet. So thank you as always to listening, and again, comment, say stuff, and we will check you in next month's episode. So until then, bye.
Later.